Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webcast, How to Use ServiceNow's Upgrade Monitor. My name is Brooke Bacon, Marketing Lead with GSI, and I am also very pleased to welcome Joe Nicolosi from IT Profits. Joe is a ServiceNow Solutions Director with 20 plus years of ITSM experience. He delivers process and gap workshops, system architecture, pre-sales, and post-sales consulting. He is certified in Agile PM methodology, ServiceNow Sales, and ServiceNow Certified Implementation Specialist. We are very excited to have him with us today. And now before we get started, I wanted to give you a chance to review our Safe Harbor statement. And now for a quick overview of today's meeting, which will last about 60 minutes. First, we would like to take a moment to go over a couple of our housekeeping items, as well as provide a brief company overview. Then I will turn it over to Joe to get into our main presentation, which will last about 40 minutes. And then we will go over upcoming educational events, and then we will wrap up with a 10-minute question and answer session. If you would like to submit a question, you can do so through the questions panel at the bottom of the GoToWebinar console window, located on the right side of your screen. Please note that all questions will be answered at the end of the presentation. So if you would like to minimize your GoToWebinar console during the presentation, just click the right-facing arrow key on the top left of the console. Clicking the left arrow key will return the console so that you can input your questions. Now I'd like to give you a brief overview of GSI. GSI is a full-service ServiceNow consulting organization. We were founded in 2004 and we now have over 100 employees. We have offices nationwide and are recognized on the Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing companies in the US. And we specialize in project consulting, managed services, with all of our services backed with a 100% guarantee. We also provide a broad spectrum of business, functional, and technical consulting services for Oracle JD Edwards, Oracle NetSuite, Oracle Cloud, Salesforce, and other enterprise applications. We also offer an extensive array of cloud and hosting solutions for Oracle Cloud, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and JDE Cloud 9. Now, before I turn things over to Joe, I want you to take a minute to answer the poll question that will appear on your screen in just a moment. So if you could just take a moment to answer this poll question, and then we'll get everything turned over to Joe for our main presentation. Right, about 10 more seconds left. Okay, great. Thank you all so much. All right, now I would like to turn everything over to Joe for our main presentation.
Okay, thank you, Brooke.
No problem. I'll just switch it over to you, sorry. There we go.
Let me start off with PowerPoint here.
Perfect. I can see your screen. Oh, wait, other screen.
All right.
There we go. Perfect.
All right. So I'm just going to step through my little slideshow here. What we're really going to talk about is the upgrade monitor. It's just a tool that is part of the upgrade process for any of your ServiceNow instances. So if you're moving from an earlier version into the latest and greatest, which ServiceNow is always going to be pressuring you to be on the latest. So you're going to be upgrading, well, as often as possible. All right, so the first thing you do, step one, phase one of upgrade process is you want to read the release notes, right? You want to know what the upgrade's touching, what if it's just a patch, what are the patch is going to fix? Is that going to, with an eye to, is that going to affect any sort of customizations I might have made or configurations? Right? And then of course you want to plan for the upgrade. When are you going to do the upgrade? When are you going to do the lower environments? How are you going to step through it? And when you're going to do it. When you've read the release notes and you've made your plans, you're ready to move on to the next phase. And that involves a full clone of your production instance over your non-production instances. Now, most customers have three. They usually have a production, a test, and a dev. There are any number of other combinations, but at a minimum, we would recommend that you have at least two instances, a production and a non-production. So when I say dev or test, if you only have one non-production instance, understand that those are the two are the same thing. All right, so you want to do a full clone. That's including all the attachments and everything. The reason for that is you don't want to have different numbers. I've seen it where we've taken a regular clone of production and over dev, run the upgrade, have it act one way, and then when we finally get to production, it's different because the full clone wasn't copied over. So remember, it's a full clone. Then you confirm that the target release version is what you want, right? You're ready to move on to the next. Verify that your system is configured for an upgrade correctly, and then you request the upgrade through High of your non-production instance, mind you. Once that upgrade is complete, or even while it's going on, is where the upgrade monitor comes into play, and that's in phase 4. And what you do with the upgrade monitor is you can monitor the upgrade, but you also have to review what's called the skipped list. So if ServiceNow comes in and it's got an update to a particular object and it finds a version of that object on your system that's it's not expecting, it's going to skip that update. That's great because very rarely is the upgrade going to break your customizations right off the bat, because it's not going to upgrade an object that you've customized. Or at least it tries not to. It's a general rule, and the upgrade monitor allows you to review these items and maybe make some changes. Maybe you want to get closer to out of the box. Maybe you see what the out of the box object is offering and it's something new and good, but you still like your customization, so you might merge them. That sort of stuff. The rest of the process, right? All right, that's phase 5, where we upgrade it and validate other non-production instances. So maybe a test environment, right? If you have a test environment, you can do that full clone from production, upgrade the test environment, and then apply your update sets that contains any fixes you might have had to do or any of those changes that you might have accepted during the upgrade process, and then you can apply that to your test environment, and you kind of imagine it up as your own company's patch for the upgrade, right? And this is where you want to do your complete testing. If you have been following our webinars, we have an earlier webinar on the automated test framework in ServiceNow. Highly recommend that. That makes this phase 6 part of the upgrade process much easier, because you can just simply run your automated test post-upgrade everything works, you're happy. And those tests are automated. You don't have to get a whole bunch of people in a room doing UAT, going through test scripts and stuff like that if you have them automated. So it allows you to have a upgrade tempo that ServiceNow would be very proud of. So watch those other webinars as well. They're quite informative. All right. Then you prepare your production environment for the upgrade, right? Part of that is communicating to your users, letting them know, hey, we're going to do this. And of course, requesting the upgrade in high for phase 7, right? That's when the upgrade runs in production. And if it ran like it did in test, you should be able to apply your update sets and fixes that you did in the lower environments to production, and then you run a smoke test, right? You want to make sure everything is working the way you expected it. And you also want to check the upgrade monitor to make sure that the upgrade went through the way you expected it. All right, so this is the upgrade monitor during an upgrade. If you're a big fan of watching progress bars crawl across the screen, this thing is for you. You can watch the whole upgrade go on as it's going and watch these progress bars. It's entertaining, but there's not much that you can do when the process is ongoing. One advantage of watching this is if your upgrade fails for some unknown reason, you'll kind of have an idea here as to, in using this details section, of maybe what it was that caused the problem, because you'll be able to see, like here, it's a sys dictionary for CMDB CI endpoint host, right? So some change to the CI endpoint class in the CMDB. If it had failed right here, I'd kind of know that. You'll be able to see that in the logs though. So, and ServiceNow would be very concerned if there was an actual failure. All right, that's during the upgrade. After the upgrade is completed, this is what you'll see. Now, this is probably you're going to be the view of it that you're going to see the most, because very few people actually watch it while it's going on. But after it's done, or you have your upgrade scheduled to run at 3 a.m. You're not actually going to be up at 3 a.m. watching this, but when you log in the next day and you open up the upgrade monitor, you're looking at this kind of a screen. What this shows you is you have your upgrade summary report here, where your from version and your to version. You can see that on this particular one, we're going from Jakarta to London patch 1. So from a Jakarta instance to the latest and greatest, right? You've got your started, finished, how long it took, and when your next upgrade check is. And you can always press the check now button to see if you have an available upgrade. But as of this webinar, London patch 1 is the latest. Then next to it is the skipped window. Now, you see I have a big blue number 7 there. I ran this upgrade on my development instance after I went in and changed a whole bunch of stuff that I knew was going to be upgraded by reading the release notes, so that I could get you some actual skip changes. If I had just upgraded straight Jakarta to an upgrade up to London, I wouldn't have any skip changes. So likely, depending upon how customized your instance may be, this number of skipped is going to be much higher than 7. So don't be lulled into a false sense of security by the number 7 there, out of 11,984. I've had some customers who have 4-digit numbers staring them in the face here, because they're in highly customized environments, down to I had a customer that only had like 24, and they'd been running ServiceNow for a while, so that was really good. This is where best practices in keeping things as close to out of the box as possible and customizing as little as possible really pays off. All right, down here on the bottom, you've got node upgrades. That's just showing you which nodes got graded and when and how long it took. All right. There's also a big blue button up here that says Review Skipped Updates. I'll be showing you that in the demo because that's where we'll be spending most of our time. All right. So you've got conflicts. You're going to have them if you've done any level of customization or different configurations. It's going to happen. So you need to make a decision on what updates you want to take from the upgrade versus what you want to keep. So you can make your decision as, I can retain my customized version as is and not accept the upgraded version. Maybe I like parts of the upgraded version of a particular object or business, let's say business rule. Maybe I like that particular change that they made, or I need it for a particular bug fix. But I also have a lot of custom scripting in there that I did that I like and want to keep. So what you can do is you can merge the two objects so that you keep your script with a couple of other of the upgraded changes. The other thing you could do is completely discard your customization and go back to matching-based system. The advantage of doing this, and it may take some analysis for you, the advantage here is that your next upgrade, those number of skipped updates is going to be a lower number. So you're getting closer and closer to out of the box, which means there's less overhead for you to maintain as far as customized objects. You can review but do nothing. You can say, all right, that's great. That's almost the same as retaining the customization as is, but it's basically not doing, it's just you're setting it to I've reviewed and I'm not going to do anything. And of course you can also leave it on the skipped list and set its status to not reviewed. That puts it in a particular list just so you can review it later. Maybe you are unsure and you need to go ask someone whether or not this change is going to affect them and what they think of it. That way you can just leave things on the skipped list, which for customers that have thousands of skipped changes, most of them get left on the skipped list for later. All right, so when you have a particular skip change, you want to try to resolve the conflict. And there's a button that says Resolve Conflicts, takes you to this screen. And this screen is great because it allows you to see in one pane of glass here what the base system is and what your customized version is, right? And you can decide, okay, well, I see the base system has this description and I have that description. I can merge these by hitting this little arrow. So let's say I like my script over here and let's say I like the base one here and I can add it over to my customized version, right? Or I can straight revert to base system or save merge. Maybe I don't want to do either. I can always just go back here if I'm unsure. Right. So some best practices around running upgrades. So you definitely want to stay current within at least the last 2 major versions. I know that ServiceNow support definitely is going to be pushing you to stay within those 2 versions. Everybody has their own deal, but I don't know if there are any that are out there that are really old, but I think we have a couple of customers who are still on Helsinki that we need to get upgraded. And when you're reviewing changing, if it's at all possible, it's recommended to revert to the base. So reverting to base, again, brings you closer into that out-of-the-box style, and allows you to lessens the headaches later on when things get upgraded. And of course, use the automated test framework or ATF tests to vastly improve the time it takes for you to test post-upgrade. The upgrade's not going to affect your automated tests, so run them and feel confident that they'll find any problems. It's a really great tool. And definitely communicate with your users. It almost goes without saying. You want to make sure you let everybody know, hey, upgrade's coming. These are the things that you can expect. Right? One other bullet point that I didn't add that is less to do with less necessarily upgrade best practices, but is important for easing your life in an upgrade, is when you do go to customize. If let's say I'm going to go and customize a business rule, do some sort of customization that involves a business rule. If there's a out-of-the-box business rule and you want a custom version of it, just disable the out-of-the-box, right? Save that, and then copy it by using insert or insert and stay, right? To make a copy of the business rule, right? Give it your own name with your own naming convention. Typically, that's going to be something like company name and then the same name of the business rule. So it's denoting it as your company's version of that particular object. Then make your changes, right? That way, the out-of-the-box one, the only thing that's different between it and anything else is the active flag, right? So when you run through this and you look at your skip changes and you can see, hey, oh, the only difference here is that my custom version is just not active. You can hit the revert to base button and then go and deactivate that business rule again, and you will have no longer active, mind you, but the latest and greatest. All right, so where possible, don't customize out-of-the-box objects. Make copies, disable those, and make copies. That will be your custom work. So the concept is adding net new objects to the system in order to build custom. If you're adding customized net new objects, well, they're never going to get caught in an upgrade check. It just won't cause any conflicts. So try to keep that in mind. All right, I think, yeah, we're going to show the upgrade monitor, the systems upgrades form, and a little bit on the resolve conflicts. All right, now we are moving to the live product demo. Switch my screen here real quick. All right. So what you're looking at now is my developer instance. If you don't have it yet, recommend if you're a ServiceNow customer, you go and get yourself signed up at developer.servicenow.com and get yourself a developer instance. It's really, especially if you're an administrator, very good for testing out stuff without touching any of even your development environment. You can really proof of concept a lot of stuff out here. But as such, just for this webinar, I requested you can request a couple major versions back of instances. So if you have a Jakarta instance, you can request Jakarta. So I requested Jakarta. I loaded a bunch of changes in there, and then I upgraded it to London. Had that upgrade run, managed to catch a screenshot when the progress bars were moving, and now we're looking at our upgrade summary report. Right, our upgrade is run. We can see a little bit of details as to schema changes that were done, top 10 fixes. Right, you get a lot of information. Maybe not all of it really pertinent to you, but if you're a bit of a ServiceNow nerd, you know what these tables are. All right. So the first thing you want to do before you do anything else is go to your update sets and create an update set for what you're going to do here. Right? Because the system doesn't keep track when you're in your dev environment and you've upgraded dev and you're looking at the upgrade monitor and you're reviewing the skip changes. The system doesn't track what, which skip changes you're accepting or reverting or doing that. It doesn't keep track of that, but it does keep track of if I press the revert button, it keeps track of that in an update set, right? So I'll just call this. So we definitely want to have an update set going, and then we can go to the upgrade monitor. The reason we do that is that we can then do the upgrade to other instances and just apply our update set, which is keeping track of basically all of our decisions that we make. And you can include other update sets for any fixes or bug fixes or stuff like that that might crop up as a result of testing. All right. So here we're back at the upgrade monitor. We can see here, here's our upgrade history, right? We started out with Jakarta. You can go back to any one of these and review skip changes. So it's going to keep a running total of all of the upgrades here in the upgrade history. If I go here to the current one, we can see what it's looking like there. Similar things with the upgrade log. If you had some sort of errors, I've had one situation where I had to actually go in here to the upgrade log and check it out because we had one little change to the CMDB that didn't actually finish running during the upgrade that we had to fix. All right, so all that's under system diagnostics. All right, so here, upgrade, we are going to review our skipped changes. All right, so we went from to when we started, when we ended, and we've got 7 skipped changes, right? It's the total number of records that were different from the previous upgrade, and the upgrade component was not applied. 11,977 were changes that were applied, and it processed 11,984. All right. This tab really is just giving you a little bit of information about how to use resolution status and what the priority is based on, but the real magic is down here in these related lists. So here we have skip changes to review. Right, we got a few. Normally this list is a little bit longer than 7, and you'll notice that it has a priority. So some customers that have that get thousands of results in this list won't bother with the priority 5s, but will do just maybe priority 1s, 2s, and 3s and review all of those and make sure they've made the right decisions there. Other customers ignore this whole thing entirely and just upgrade, test, and go. But this table is going to show, once we review them, what our decisions were. This table's a little new, but this is showing you other skipped changes that were skipped because of custom objects, right? So here we see this incident closed, even though it's top priority, they skipped it. It's a system email action for incident closed. You're going to have probably a few here. These are, again, custom objects that they did not update, that were updated in the upgrade, but not here. They were skipped because it saw something custom. All right. These are the changes that were applied. Whole lot to review. I wouldn't necessarily review all of them. You might sort this by priority here and just take a look at the number ones. And then you can see the actual upgrade details. It's very verbose. All right. So what we'll look at now is reviewing the skipped changes. All right. So here we have this particular change. It's making some changes to, looks like, to the index for knowledge bases, knowledge class. All right, just indexes. I can press this resolve conflicts. Oh, well. I have no authorization to update this particular record, but it's just we can tell here that because this is just a couple of sysids, that's probably going to translate here to this. So I feel like we're safe here reverting to the base system. All right, and we can mark this reviewed and reverted. All right, and now that shows up in our skip changes reviewed. We can go here and looking at this one. Well, this one looks like it's a large XML file change. I think we'll keep this one. All right. Mark that reviewed and retained. And we just work through our changes. Now we may want to come over here and look at this. If we look at, let's say, this particular skip change to our SCCM integration, right? Let's resolve the conflicts here and see what's up. Well, come on, dev instance. All right. So here we have the base system, which is part of this SCCM integration plugin versus our customized one. Anybody who has the, these packaged integrations, is not uncommon for you to customize them somewhat because your data might be different than what the out-of-the-box stuff is looking for. So here we can see that this is enforced mandatory fields, but my customized version is enforcing only the mapped fields, right? So I like that. No real change to the script here, right? Source table looks the same. So you see all these, the blue highlighted, that's the thing that's different, right? So I'm not going to do anything with this. I'm going to retain it. Because I like it. And let's see, there's another. Yeah, that's. let's look at transform entry. This one. And we're going to resolve conflicts here. And here we can see everything is pretty much the same except for our script. Now I only made a a small edit to this so it shows up in this window, but most scripts are longer than 2 or 3 lines. But just to show you, it brings up this great little editor that allows you to scroll through and highlights exactly where the difference was. This is obviously it's the same thing except for I added a comment in my customized version, and that's the only difference. Sometimes you can examine these scripts and you can look at what it is, let's say you were doing, and realize, hey, well, this other script that's part of the base system is doing pretty much the exact same thing, just in a slightly different way. So maybe I want to go ahead and revert so I don't have to worry about this thing anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and revert. And now that script has been changed back to the out of the box. If I decide I don't like that, I can hit this button and go back. All right, let's if you followed my advice on deactivating the out-of-the-box things, you'll get a lot of situations where you just have this bar, where the only thing that's different between your customized version and the base system is that this one's not active. If that's the case, you can either go ahead and hit the revert and deactivate, or just leave this alone, right? Slight, it says there's a difference there, but looks like it's just a space character difference. Oh, and script looks the same, so we're good there. So the only difference is mine's inactive and that's not, so I'll just decide to retain it. Now, like I said, you might come across a particular change here that when you come here to check this out, you might go, I don't really know. I don't know what I want to do with this. We got to have some meetings, right? We can go ahead and mark this as not reviewed. And that will allow us to kind of note here that this has not been reviewed yet. Same thing as blank, but you can do it. I want to go here and kind of work through these. Let's say I've just reviewed this, but I haven't done anything, right? But I've reviewed it. Just revert that one. Hopefully you go with a little bit more. Update that. And so on. Now, I've gone through and I've done several of these. I could go back and run my tests. Hey, this thing broke. Maybe I should go back and revert this to the base system, or go back to my customized version. Whatever decision you're going to make there, but review the customization ones. Make sure that maybe you have a custom version that you can go back to the updated version, the out-of-the-box version. That's always well and good. Now, if we go back, we can see here in our update sets, it's been keeping track. Well, this is the only one we made a change on, but it keeps track of all of the decisions that we've made, so that when we come back and upgrade our test instance, we can take this update set and apply it to the test instance, run our tests, do our UAT, everybody's happy, no bugs are found, we upgrade production, apply our update set there, upgrade done, right? So always remember, get a new update set before you start messing around with the upgrade monitor. I'm going to quickly go through here. And do the rest of these. Like I said, you might have a big long list here of things to look at, and so you definitely want to make use of the priority field to prioritize which changes you want to review first. Others you may, the priority 4s and 5s, you may have a few hundred of those that you don't want to bother with. Now that's just part of the process. Why this is not updating, but that's pretty much it for the upgrade monitor. It's a key tool. A lot of people miss it and miss an opportunity. A lot of people are just don't know that this is a step in the upgrade process. I've had several customers who are like, no, I've never seen this before. But it's definitely something you want to take a look at post-upgrade and try to get yourself where you can closer to the out-of-the-box objects. All right. I think that's it for back time.
All right, perfect. And let me know when you can see my screen, Joe. Thank you so much.
Yep, got your screen.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much. That was great. I would like to cover a few follow-up items, and then we will move on to our question and answer section of our webcast. Our webcast today is part of GSI's free ongoing educational webcast series on ServiceNow. Our upcoming webcast, which is one, the only one that we have right now is the one we did today, but you can always view our most up-to-date schedule at getgsi.com/ServiceNow webcasts. And we provide extensive free educational resources for the ServiceNow community, including our weekly educational webcasts, our online resource center, and our on-site and virtual workshops. If you'd like to sign up for our weekly email reminders on upcoming webcasts or create an account to access our resource center, you can go to getgsi.com, go to Platforms on the main menu, and then you will select the appropriate link on the left-hand side. While I see we have a few questions that have been submitted online, I would like to remind everyone that if you'd like to still submit a question, you can do so through the question panel in the GoToWebinar console window on the right side of your screen. And if you minimized your console earlier, please click the left-facing arrow key to redisplay the questions panel. All right, Joe, I have a few questions here for you. And our first question comes from Eric, and Eric says, Comments entered when doing this process are not captured in your update set. Are there plans to capture them in future versions?
That's definitely true. It, yeah. Is there plans to capture them? I don't know. You'd have to ask. ServiceNow wouldn't tell you anyway. But you can always export them, right?
Okay.
You can export that sort of stuff out to Excel so you have it. And if you're crafty, you can then import it into other environments. But understand that you can't just export out these records along with their comments and import them like XML. I think the sysids are going to be different, so they're not going to update that way. So you'll have to export them in Excel, import them into an import set, and then run a transform map.
Okay, great. Thank you. And our next question comes from Judy, and she says, does the system maintain the upgrade detail records from one instance to the next?
Yeah, so basically the same question, basically the same idea as the previous question. It does not. So the comments and decisions that you make in one instance aren't going to be, there when you upgrade the next instance. So again, you've either got to export those out to maintain into a spreadsheet or something like that, or the thing that you use to move your decisions that you make in the lower environments is the update set that tracks your changes.
Okay, great. And our last question we have is from Sean, and he says, do I have to activate the upgrade monitor from the plugins list?
You used to. That's no longer anymore. It's now there by default. So not anymore.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, Joe. That looks like it's the end of our questions for today. And as a follow-up from today's webcast, we ask that you complete a short 1-minute survey when you exit. You will be receiving an email with a link to our resource center on our website where you can access the recording from today's webcast, as well as a copy of the presentation. And after today's webcast, we will do the drawing for the $25 Amazon gift card, and anyone that attended the entire webcast will be eligible, and we will notify the winner. If you have any follow-up questions, you can contact Joe or myself, and we will make sure that we get back to you, and our contact info is currently listed on the screen. Well, thank you again, everybody, for attending, and Joe for your presentation. And we hope that you guys have a great day.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Bye-bye.